Good evening. This meeting is called to order. Southeast Delco School District Board Business Meeting of the Board of Directors, Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. We will have a salute to the flag, a moment of silence, and a roll call from Mr. Butler. Please stand. Thank you. Mr. Butler, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may, Madam President. Mr. Fowler is excused. Mrs. McGowan,
Present.
Ms. Womack,
Present.
Ms. Woodfolk,
Present.
Mrs.
Present.
Mrs. Barley,
Present.
Ms. Harris Johnson.
Present.
She's present. Yeah. Ms. Perry, I'm sorry, sorry about that, Mr. Lafferty.
Present.
Ms. Perry,
Present.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
Present.
Dr. Ryan,
Present.
Mr. DiOrio,
Present.
and Mr. Butler present. And the children. Thank you, Ms. Perry. Mr. Frazier.
Present.
And Ms. Barley.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. At this time, I don't have any comments or announcements. May I have a report from the student board representatives?
Good evening. My name is Kiara Barley.
Good evening. I'm Nathan Frazier. Ms. Barley will start our report this evening. This month, our entire district was packed full of Black History Month celebrations.
Sharon Hill School held a school-wide poster contest and announced Black History trivia each and every morning. Between the 21st Century Enrichment Program and all of the staff, the entire building was full of displays, bulletin boards, and decorations to celebrate and educate.
All month long, Harris teamed up with the Collingdale Park and Recreation Committee. Students in all grades worked on an array of different art projects to contribute to Collingdale's Black History celebration this past weekend. Students contributed sketches, drawings, posters, and more that were displayed at the community event. 9 students were recognized and awarded by the committee this past Sunday for their artwork celebrating Black history.
Delcroft School made sure all grade levels and content areas had different activities to dive into. The projects included poetry writing, presentations, book studies, living history activities, and in-depth research projects on famous African Americans. The students' research projects and biographies were displayed in the hallways throughout the building. Shout out to the school librarian, Ms. Thomas, for focusing on books centered around Black history, culture, authors, and more. Students were encouraged to check out these texts along with books that had received the Coretta Scott King Award. Staff also shared biographies of important African Americans during this morning announcement.
Darby Township School included little-known facts about Black history in their morning announcements, followed by daily inspirational PowerPoint presentations in all classes. In social studies, middle school students worked on posters celebrating important Black figures, and the youngest students worked hard on guided drawings. Next week, Darby Township and Sharon Hill School will be hosting living wax museums focused on Black history. Darby Township will host their school-wide Blacks in Wax on Tuesday the 27th with assembly during the school day and parents and the community welcomed in the evening to explore the museum. Ms. Povey's 5th grade class at Sharon Hill School will be hosting their Living Black History Museum on Thursday the 29th.
At the Kindergarten Center, the teachers have been doing a variety of activities to promote Black History Month. A committee developed a Google slideshow, and each classroom chose a famous individual that they researched and created artwork to be displayed. Next week, a school tour of the artwork from each classroom is scheduled.
At Academy Park, we celebrated with a Black History Spirit Week. The week included HBCU Day, One Love Day, and Unity Day. Unfortunately, we missed celebrating Black Culture Day due to the snow. Our staff hosted a writing and art contest with all kinds of prizes, including surprise lunches, gift cards, shout-outs, assemblies, and more. We are excited to learn who all of the winners are. Each first block had a chance to rack up all points all month long by answering morning trivia questions. The winning class will be announced at the end of this month. Academy Park students volunteered, hosted, and performed the annual Collingdale Black History Celebration. I was the master of ceremonies. Fode Cisse DJ'd, and 3 phenomenal vocalists performed Thank You Shadira Robinson, Joy Knight, and Chris Harris. We also want to thank Jeremy Murphy, Sean Murphy, Fatumata Kaba, Aisha Koulibaly, Bahaya Goodman for helping set up and usher the event. The community was impressed by all of our students. Thank you to our new superintendent, Dr. Sanchez, for attending the event to see our Harris School and AP students showcase. As a finale of all the Black History celebrations at AP, the high school will host a poetry slam and show on Friday, March 1st. The show will feature a song, dance, and spoken words by our students. We hope some of our administrators and school board directors can attend this exciting event.
As a finale of all the Black History celebrations at AP, the high school will host PBIS initiatives at our school promote good behavior and foster a positive learning environment all year long. PBIS and Student Council teamed up to hold a successful movie night and bake sale at Sheridan Hill School. Families watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie and more than 200 people were in attendance. It must have been a great event. The PBIS team at DTS will be celebrating positive behavior by hosting a sneaker ball and dance tomorrow throughout the school day for all grades. Whether students are spending Delcroft dollars or Harris night notes, we love to hear that students are able to cash in on their good behavior and celebrate with phenomenal events or shopping. At Harris, students were celebrated with a dirt pudding buffet, and students at Delcroft were able to shop in the school store. At our kindergarten center, students are chosen each week as star students. They get to strut their stuff on the red carpet at the weekly assembly and receive a special bracelet. Academy Park admin have been super innovative, offering different and interesting prizes and events for students. Students can win things like a game of Mario Kart with the principal, Night Nation swag, DoorDash lunches, or being the principal for a day. Staff and students have created a social media team that is working hard to increase engagement and brag about our school. Join the Night Nation 1K challenge. Students, parents, and staff go follow at Academy Park _nights. Once we have 1,000 followers, all of the winners will be announced. You must be a student to win.
Read Across America Day and week are coming up in the beginning of March. On March 1st, both Harris and Delcroft schools will be welcoming special guest speakers to read to their younger students. Delcroft will also be holding buddy reading events for middle schoolers to read to the younger children. Sharon Hill will be welcoming their celebrity readers throughout the week of March 4th through 8th, along with a Spirit Week to celebrate and help students develop a love for reading. DTS will hold Read Across America Day on Monday, March 4th, featuring guest readers and has a special event planned for each day of that week. Be sure to look out for ESC administrators, school board directors, state representatives, county council members, and more stopping by to read to our students. We are excited to tell you more about it at our next meeting.
The SC Delco Gifted Support Program and the high school HiQ team have been growing orchids with the direction from the American Orchid Society and the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. The orchids will be presented in the Philadelphia Flower Show from March 2nd through March 10th. If you are heading to the flower show, please be sure to check out our district's display. On February 14th, the Interact Club held a blood drive. Approximately 40 students and staff donated blood. We were able to collect 22 units of blood, which equates to 66 lives saved. Congratulations, Interact Club. Their next blood drive is May 1st. In sports news, congratulations to our track and field stars that are headed to states this weekend. Fatu Kaba, Kamir Jones, Kiela Bright, Sean Moat, Maurice Reese, and Joshua Dean. Good luck to all of you this weekend. Tomorrow after school, there will be an interest meeting for spring track, and practice will begin on March 4th.
Congratulations to our football players Hareem Barnes, Uwais Roan, Kamir Jones, Kamani Chase, Fuad Mansoure, Rafi Stevenson, and Ibram Jabi. They were selected to play in the annual Hero Bowl game this May at Cardinal O'Hara High School. Go make AP proud. In other Academy Park news, the freshman and sophomore dance, better known as Frosh, is tomorrow evening. 9th and 10th graders will dance the night away. Be sure to come dressed for the star-studded red carpet affair and Hollywood lights. Refreshments will be provided. What's Your Passion returns this Saturday. Students are invited to hear from countless successful AP alumni who come back to share about their experiences and career paths. Students and alumni will receive breakfast and lunch. Students will even have the opportunity to win some really great raffle prizes. This is a truly inspiring event you do not want to miss.
Last week, AP and middle school students attended the DVCEE's Annual Leadership Institute in King of Prussia. Participants chose sessions aligned with their goals and learned techniques for accomplishing them, including how to speak up effectively. DVCEE's focus is on inter-district collaboration and shared learning to improve the gap in preparation, opportunity, and achievement for students of color and students coming from economic disadvantage. The class of 2024 is hosting a Joe Corby's and Claire's Gourmet fundraiser through February 28th to support senior class events and help fund prom. Any senior that sells 10 items will receive half off their prom ticket. Any senior that sells 20 items will receive a free prom ticket. Please support a senior that you know or contact Ms. Kluza to support the class. For every 20 items Ms. Kluza sells, she will raffle off a free prom ticket to a senior.
Earlier today, our high school administrators and student ambassadors from all 4 grades hosted many of our school board directors for an open house and tour of the building to learn about the culture we are creating. Students were able to interact with individual board members and touched on what they love about AP, what changes they would like to see, and suggestions for the future of their school. They shared their after high school aspirations and learned about the board of directors' role in school governance. Thank you to all of the board members that were able to attend today and the administrators who helped make this day possible. We look forward to seeing the Student Ambassador Program at AP grow.
Juniors and seniors, mark your calendars. On Tuesday, March 19th at 6 p.m., the Empowerment Zone will be hosting their annual prom dress expo. It is only $10 to get in, and designer dresses will be sold for only $50. There will also be shoes and jewelry available. Each senior in attendance will have the opportunity to win the ultimate prom experience, including a custom design dress, makeover, transportation to the prom, and more. Other raffles include free hair, nails, and makeup. The expo will be held at the Oaks Ballroom. Also, be sure to follow the Concerned Citizens Action Group on Facebook. They will be hosting their free prom jewelry giveaway soon. It will be held at the Sharon Hill Library.
Before we go, we want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to a star teacher at Sharon Hill School. Congratulations to first grade teacher Ms. McDermott for earning the Excellence in Teaching Award from the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union Foundation. She will receive her award and a $1,000 grant towards her classroom at Drexel Brook in April. Thank you to all the principals and vice principals that shared outstanding news with us this month from across the district. It has been fun to brag about all the wonderful things our district is doing. Keep the good news coming. Enjoy Blessed of Black History Month, and we look forward to our school celebrating Women's History Month in March.
This concludes our report. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You can either stay or go home. You too, it's not. Please be safe. Dr. Ryan, is there a superintendent's report?
Not at this time.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam President, may I make an amendment, or suggest making an amendment to the agenda for this evening?
Yes, you may.
Under HR, I would like to add item number 18, an approval for the following resolution. It is resolved that effective immediately, Dr. Yamil Sanchez is hereby employed as a part-time administrative consultant without salary, benefits, or any remuneration at no cost to the district. The part-time employment will terminate upon the commencement of service as district superintendent by Dr. Sanchez.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Vice President Perry. May I have a motion to approve minutes from January 25th, 2024, regular board business meeting, and January 29th, special board business meeting?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report and bills in the payment in the amount of $6,012,809.20?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam President, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Do we need to then approve the amended agenda?
I think since we approved the amendment to the agenda, that would be necessary
Okay.
under the circumstances. Good question, though.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Thank you. New business. May I have a motion for further discussion on the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding for the Southeast Delco Education Association?
Motion.
Thank you. It has been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. New business. Are there any questions on new business? Item A, Education 1 through 8. Further discussion. Seeing none, are there any questions on item B, Finance 1? Seeing none, are there any questions on items 1 through 18, with 18 being a roll call vote? Seeing none, there are no property and no policy items. So we can discuss new business now, or we can wait. Would we like to discuss new business now, or start the voting?
We should, if there's questions on the agenda, we should review the questions before we vote.
Nothing from the public.
No, from the public.
Okay.
There are no public comments regarding agenda items. So the floor is open for the motion that was made January 25th, 2024 for Southeast Delco Education Association. The floor is open.
So I would just like to clarify exactly what we voted on at last month's meeting. And if I'm mistaken, if our solicitor could please correct me. We did move the effective date to March 1st. And we voted to bring teachers to their proper salary step, which is aligned to their years of service, effective March 1st, not necessarily payable March 1st, because there are some logistics and paperwork and things that need to be worked out first. And this would not include any back pay or anything like that. And the effective day is March 1st, and we're only increasing their steps, no other changes to the agreement that's already in place.
Any other comments or questions? So I just want to make it clear that the contract that the Southeast Delco Education Association agreed upon, which was dated September 1st, 2027 to August 31st, 2022, that they agreed upon no step movement in the 2018 school year, and the school district will provide them a 3.5131%, which shall be placed on the schedule, which is attached as an addendum in their contract, which is attached to this. There shall be no step movement for 2017-2018 school year. Each bargaining union member shall be placed on his or her current step/column on the 2017-2018 schedule and shall receive full compensation of the step and column. Any cap or compensation are hereby eliminated. All bargaining union members who have enough credits to move columns by August 31st, 2017 shall move columns based on the total number of credits accumulated for the start of the 2017-2018 school year. There shall be a $500 off-scale longevity payment paid each school year to bargaining union members who are on step 16 during the 17-18 school year. No column movement was made in 2018-2019. However, they did receive a step movement. The school district shall provide an additional 2.779%, which shall be placed on the schedule and shall include one full step movement on the attached schedule, which is attached hereto and incorporated within for the 2018-2019 school year. All members who are on step 15 and 15 and a half for the 2017-2018 school year shall move to step 16. No bargaining union member shall be entitled to a column movement for the 2018-2019 school year only. There shall be a $500 off-scale longevity payment paid each year to the bargaining union members who are at step 16 during the 17-18 school year. Once bargaining union members reach step 15, those bargaining unit members shall progress to step 16 as step 15.5 has been eliminated from the schedule. In 2019-2020, no movement. The school district shall provide an additional 2.2719%, which shall be placed on the schedule, which is attached and incorporated herein. For the 2019-2020 school year, there shall be no step movement for 2019-2020 school year. All bargaining union members who obtain enough credits for one column movement by August 31st, 2018, and continue to accrue additional credits to obtain a second column movement by August 31st, 2019, shall move 2 columns at the start of 2019-2020 school year. Notwithstanding foregoing, all bargaining members who obtain enough credits to move 1 column by August 31st, 2019, shall move a column for the start of 2019-2020 school year. There shall be a $500 off-scale longevity payment paid to each school year to bargaining union members who are on step 16 during the 18-19 school year. Bargaining union members who work 95 days, school days or more, which includes the use of paid leave, shall move to the next step for the following school year. If a bargaining union member did not work 95 days per year, then the member shall remain on the same step for the following school year. As of September 1st, 2017, no new bargaining unit member shall be hired and or placed on a half step. All bargaining union members shall be eligible for the PhD National Board Certification column. And then there's a long list of other, the longevity payments for 3 pages. So I just want to make it clear, I'm not against teachers being on a correct step. However, they did get step movements in this contract that some people believe there were no step movements, and they also got an increase in pay. So I just want to make that very clear to everyone. So are we all clear about this?
Yes.
Very clear.
So at this time, my question is, where will you like the district to get the money from?
Well, as Dr. Ryan presented last week at the Committee of the Whole, a few days after we voted for this modification to the contract, we received notice of an additional $450,000 available from the Ready to Learn grant. And I feel since we're getting those additional dollars and we've already voted to spend this money, that it makes the most sense to use the grant to cover those funds, since the grant is more than the funds needed for the rest of the school year.
Okay, Dr. Ryan, can you explain what a Ready to Learn grant is?
Sure, we get money from the state. Traditionally, we've gotten a little over $800,000 that we have used to fund full-day kindergarten, partially fund full-day kindergarten. As Ms. Perry said, about a month ago, we were notified that we would be receiving a one-time extra $450,000 for this school year. That money can go to a number of costs that was shared with the board last Thursday. One of the costs is potentially to establish or maintain or expand teacher incentives. If this is the direction that the board is going, which we did say was possible, we would write the grant for that, submit it, and then if accepted, the money could be spent for that expenditure. If the state decided that this was not an appropriate expenditure, then it would have to come from somewhere else. But that was what was discussed last Thursday evening.
So, Dr. Ryan, do we have the grant currently?
We have approval of the first, I believe it's $888,000 for the full-day kindergarten. We do not technically have approval for anything that we've written for the additional $450 because it has not been written or submitted yet.
So the question to the board is, you want to take the 800, the grant that was approved for kindergarten, that's the money that the board would like to use to, I'm asking a question. So, Dr. Ryan, the 800, that's for the grant that was for kindergarten, that was awarded to us, correct?
That has been approved. Whether we've got all the money or not, it may come in increments from the state, but the writing of that original Ready to Learn grant was written, submitted, and approved for full-day kindergarten. That does not count the extra $450,000.
So can we take that money and use it for the teacher's incentive if the grant was written for the kindergarten center?
No, you would have to talk to the state about reopening that grant and doing either a revision or essentially rewriting it.
So the
But we
board,
haven't done that in the past.
so the board is the board asking the administration to rewrite the grant for this?
Okay,
No, we're asking to write the grant for the additional $450. We already have approved for the $800,000, and we've already allocated that for kindergarten. The state already approved it for kindergarten. We're getting an additional $450,000.
No, he said he didn't write the grant yet.
He didn't write it for the $450,000. He already wrote it for the $888,000.
I understand that part. So what I'm asking is the board asking for the kindergarten money, or do they want the administration to write the grant for the teachers' increase? Step movement. That's what I'm asking.
We've already, those are two separate.
Okay, so the question is, are you asking the administration to write a grant for the money for the step increase?
Absolutely,
Yes, absolutely.
absolutely. But it has nothing to
No.
do with the 800,000 that was already written and approved for kindergarten. We're not taking that money away from the kindergarten
So
program.
that's why I want to be clear. Are we asking administration to write a grant so that the step increase for the association can be covered? That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Roll call. I'm a little confused here. I'm just a little confused here. So some of the board members are asking to take the money from the grant? No?
The grant has not been written
I'm
yet.
just trying to get an understanding of what's going on. So, I mean,
Yeah.
talk to me.
We already have the grant handled for the 800,000. That is a separate issue. We were notified that we were going to get an additional $450,000 that we now have to write for. That has been offered to us as long as we fill out the grant and it's approved. This would cover this year's increase.
So you're saying that we're going to take the money from this grant?
From the addition, just
So,
from the addition.
Okay, but the addition is not here yet, correct?
That's what we're writing for.
It's very
Oh.
common to spend money before you get the grant money. Like, you don't spend it before you get approved. But it's very common to spend money on expenditures while you're waiting for grant money to come in.
Okay, so, so we're gonna wait for the grant money to come in. Now, we voted March the 1st for the teachers to start getting paid for their steps. So how long, if the teachers are asking, when are they going to get paid? We gonna have to tell them, wait till the grant come in?
No, so you would spend money out of the general fund, and then when the grant came in, you would resupply that money that you've taken out of the general fund, you'd put it in there. That's how it works. It's really just like, I don't want to say for lack of a better term, but moving money between accounts. It's not like we have $0 in the bank account and we're borrowing on a credit card.
Okay, so have we, I wasn't here last week, but have we talked to Mr. Butler? And, what have Mr. Butler said? Can you?
Well,
speak,
real quick
Mr.
before, just to clarify, it is effective March 1st. The teachers are not getting a check March 1st.
Right,
And
I do
until
know
all,
that.
everything is counted out and straightened out and the union votes on an MOU, there will be a payout after that. They're
Right.
not getting a check March 1st. There's no guarantee the pay increase
I'm
will be in the
clear with
first
that.
March payroll.
I am clear with that. I'm just trying to figure out,
Oh, wait, so is there going to be a payout, or is it going to be?
It's just a pay raise, not a payout. There's
Well,
no
you just said
lump
payout,
sum
that's why I
payout.
asked. That's why, you just said payout. That's why I wanted to clarify.
I said they'll be getting no paycheck March 1st.
And you said the payout would be later. That's why I'm trying to clarify. I just want to make sure that we're clear.
It's a pay increase that is effective with whatever hours they worked March 1st moving on.
right,
So any back pay that will happen will only go back to March 1st.
right.
But we need to allow time for the MOU to be finalized, for the union to vote on it, and for Mr. Butler to work through the matrix before we can decide those numbers. Then they'll get to payroll, and the adjustments will be made. And it will only be backdated till March 1st. Effective date means effective, not payable.
Right, okay, now I do understand that, but let me, understand that, excuse me?
Your question for Mr. Butler was the grant, right, when I cut you off?
Yeah, but you did cut me off, so I really forgot, but now I have to direct it to you. So I'm just wanting to know that, so the teachers don't know for sure when they're going to get the March 1st, money on, right? We don't give them an exact date, correct?
I don't think we have an exact date yet because the MOU has not been signed and voted on by the teachers' union.
Okay.
But I believe that communication would go through the union, would it not, in accordance to when certain things are to be expected? And if they have questions regarding that, they should be going to the union with those questions, correct?
I would agree that they should go to the union representation, but I would rather have someone with more expertise than I clarify that.
So, Mr. Butler, so how is have you spoken to the board last week? Or give us any advice last week when, in my absence?
During the discussion, my only, not concern, but I did make a statement about the MOU being prepared and signed by all parties before any funds are released. And that can't occur until those documents are voted on by both parties.
Okay. Okay.
So, Mr. Butler, have you been able to formulate who is to get which member of the bargaining union this would affect?
Yes. So can I
Yes,
read you
please.
the document? So I prepared a document, and the total number of staff, teaching staff that we have is 345. Number of staff members that are eligible or affected by this two-step increase is 183 members, and then 162 members are not eligible. These are all members who were hired before June 30th of 2020 that still work here. This does not include any employees that have left the district in that time frame.
And what is that total amount that will be affected by it?
So the number of individuals or just the total dollar amount?
Total.
Okay, so I did this in a more global approach. So, and this is for budgeting purposes, but I'll just go over what I have here. So we have numbers, I have numbers calculated for individuals or for the entire staff, for the 345 members. And in total, and let me just clarify one thing. This is assuming that it's for an entire year. So the total would be $36,471,701. Again, this is for an entire year. And again, I'll clarify even deeper. So for this effort, the current contract cost would be $35,468,207. So the difference is $1,003,495.
Wow.
So let me go back over, so there are several components. There's the actual gross payroll amount, and then there are payroll costs, which include Social Security, PSERS, unemployment, workman's comp. So out of that, when I said the $36,471,000, $25,243,000 is gross salaries, and then payroll costs associated with that are $11,228,000. Currently, the current payroll is $24,548,000. Current projected payroll costs would be $10,919,000. Okay, so now the next step was to take the difference of that. The difference, and again, this is for an entire year. The difference in total would be $1,003,495. Right.
For the entire year?
For the entire year, and that's important as we move forward. But for this purpose, the effective date will cover a period of March 1st through June 30th. Now, June, understand the last teacher day is June
13.
Mid-June.
Yeah, it's mid-June. So my point in saying that is that March, April, May, and June, there are 69 workdays left. That covers 69 workdays out of the 190 days that the contract calls for. Right, so so I will prorate that amount for those 69 days. So the prorated amount in total is $364,427. Yes, and that is for the coverage of 69 workdays.
Is this the first contract year or the second?
This is the current year for 23-24. And just another point of clarification.
I'm sorry, Mr. Butler, I mean, in their bargaining, the CBA that was signed already. Is this their first year in the bargaining union contract, or is this their second year, 23-24? This ends
I'm
20.
sorry, 23-24 is their second.
And how many years do they have left in their contract?
It's a 5-year contract. It ends 26-27.
For that first year, for the 69 days, that's what's coming to, that's what for the $364,427 is what we're looking to use that $450,000 that we are looking to get from the grant to cover. And then I know people are sitting here kind of going like, oh, with these numbers, but you got to remember, what's it going to cost to restaff when everyone leaves? It's going to cost way more than that.
Can I ask for a point of clarification, Mr. Butler, for both me and the public? So without the increase, the cost is still $35 million. It's not like we didn't vote to spend $35 million. The cost was already $35 million.
Well,
We voted to add about $1 million to that each year, and then it might go a little higher than $1 million as we get closer to the end of the contract.
Correct. So my analysis is in total. the impact on the board resolution that was approved increases the original contract amount for the 23-24 school year. If it began at the beginning of the school year, it would increase it $1,003,495. Because it has not started at the beginning of the school year, it's for 69 days, and that has a value calculated at $364,427. Moving forward, everyone has to understand, and we're talking about the grant amount, and the grant amount will cover the $364,427. That is a one-time payment, as we know of right now. But understand that this $1 million is a one-time $1 million, but it will occur every single year through 26, 27. So it's not that the $1 million just happens now, and that 364 happens now, and then we revert back to the original contract amounts that was negotiated. This $1 million will go for the 24, 25, 25, 26, and 26, 27 school years.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear, because when you read off 36,000, there was a lot of noise in the room, and we didn't vote to or 36 million, I'm sorry. We didn't vote to spend 36 million additional dollars. The contract was already for 35 million per year, correct?
That's correct.
Because the teachers are our largest group of employees, and at every district, teachers are the largest group of employees. So I just want to make that clear, because they sound like really big numbers, but we did not vote to spend 36 million additional dollars. We voted to spend about an additional $1 million each year until 2027.
Mr. Butler? So, moving forward, we're gonna use the grant money. The board recommends using the grant money. Well, the board recommends that the administration writes the grant.
Correct.
So what happens if they deny our grant? So where is the funds gonna come from? Are we taking it from the fund balance? Because it wasn't budgeted for this school year.
Correct.
So, Mr. Butler, where could the money come from since it wasn't budgeted and for this budgeted year?
There's only one option that comes out of fund balance,
And currently, the fund balance is at what?
a little over $5 million. But as I report every year, that back in 18-19, the district was $1.2 million in the red. So we have to just be, and then again, last year, and I'm just repeating, last year, it was decided that there would not be a tax increase. So as I move forward doing the 24-25 budget, there will be 183 teachers that will, budget-wise, move 3 steps. The 2 steps that was decided on, and then the 1 step for the 24-25, going from 23-24 to 24-25. And then we will have 162 staff members that will move 1 step.
And then
Does
that
that
would
make sense?
impact the budget by an estimated amount?
Sure, well, that takes it closer to $2 million, budget-wise.
So will there need to be a tax increase?
Well,
Will there need to be a tax increase for this upcoming budget year so that we can either have the 2 million? Because when we negotiated the contract with the association, this wasn't budgeted, thought about. And then could you give us what would help us get to the 2 million?
So
Percentage-wise.
I can't answer that question this evening because the governor's office, the governor's budget is a proposal and very preliminary at this time, but there's nothing that I can't base, and I said this is last meeting, I can't base a budget on a what-if or estimates. So until that time, in this case, I would use what we're receiving currently in 23-24 as the budget amount for 24-25. And if there were any numbers that we learned before June 30th of '24, before we approved the budget, then I would adjust the budget accordingly, and then that would have an impact on a tax increase. Whether, if it was more money, it would be less of a tax increase.
Okay, and
But
then,
I can't make that, I can't give you that information
so
today.
then my final question is, if we're saying that we need another additional $3 million for the next 3 years for this contract, and we're taking it from the fund balance, that will bring us to a little over $2 million, and how would that,
It would, yeah, if the revenue from the Department of Ed was flat, then yeah. So in this district, 2.5% increase probably generates about $1.5 million. And that would just cover, in this case, it would cover this contract only. So then you would have to look at all of the other costs. And as I mentioned in the last meeting, we have the contract for safeguarders, that's $1 million. And there was one other contract I mentioned.
Cardinal points?
We have Cardinal Points. But Cardinal Points is we would either have our own staff, but there's been difficulty with that, and that's why we have members from, staff from Cardinal Points. But we'd have to consider some of these contracts that are pretty hefty before deciding on what the tax increase would look like.
I'm sorry, but it seems like we are just moving backwards. I am for the teachers to get their pay, but I had suggested to the board, let's talk about it before we make a move, before we even vote on it. But, and now I'm just thinking that we are going to be stuck somewhere down the line. Because, like I said, we're moving backwards. Now we done voted and approved it. Now we got to fish and find out where the money is going to come from.
So then I would expect that every single one of us would be out there looking for those funds. I expect to see grant proposals
I agree with
flying
you.
in.
I agree with you.
before-
I agree with you 100%, but let's look for it first. That's why I said you're moving backwards.
I don't
You
necessarily.
have to look for it first before you start paying for anything.
This was not something that was sprung on us. This was something that we've always known was out there and held
Right,
over the
I
head.
agree with you, but like
We drug our feet for too long.
Okay, but
Therefore,
look
it-
where it's putting us at. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. We cannot sit here, now we done voted, we passed it. Then we gotta find out where this money is coming from. I asked the board at the executive session, I said to you guys, let's figure out how we're going to make this move first. And then we can see how, what day we could vote for these teachers. Absolutely, I'm for these teachers.
No offense, didn't you guys get this proposal like a year ago?
Wait a minute, I'm not finished yet. I'm for these teachers. I'm for these teachers. You have to realize what we're doing now, we're working backwards. No matter what you think we did a year ago, we are trying to do this now. You have to do it right. You just can't vote on something and just get back to the table and say where the money is coming from.
Oh, it's easy. We can stop having catered meals. We can stop
Oh,
with
no,
the
you
trips.
stop having catered meals, okay? Because I'll tell you one thing,
No, what I'm saying is you cannot talk over top of each other, Ms. Whitfield.
Okay, but
I'm trying to be
saying
respectful, please,
that,
thank
you
you.
know, some things that I am not going for, that we should stop having, okay? Because of the fact that these teachers need their money. I agree, they do need their money, but we are moving backwards. We should have sat down with Butler and figure out what we could do, where we can move, how we can move it, but instead, we're going to rush and pass it. Now, we got to worry about, well, are we going to pass, raise the taxes? Well, if y'all raise the taxes, I'll be on Zoom. Because I'll be darned if I'm sitting at this table and let these people raise their taxes for anything. It's ridiculous. They paying too much taxes as it is.
That's fine, but then, like I'm saying, if that's the case, I expect to see you coming in with a truckload of grants. I expect to see you coming in with funding opportunities
We
to
could've
help
done that
offset that.
first.
But you could have done that back in December.
Okay,
So
I
we
can't-
shoulda, woulda, done.
I can't go back there.
But if we can't
I'm
go,
dealing with now.
I know, if we can't go back, let's deal with going forward. Instead of,
Okay, all right.
instead of going back and instead of complaining, why don't we
I'm
instead?
not complaining.
No,
I just wanted to, if y'all want to move forward this way, let's move forward this way. But I think this is the worst thing to do because it's going to give everybody a headache. Where is this money coming from?
I'd rather have a headache now than empty classrooms with teachers we don't have. And then we're sitting there talking about, oh, we gotta hire all these new teachers. We had classrooms that had no people.
Well-
Now we're fixing that problem. Next problem up, we gotta look for that funding. We have,
I'm gonna go with, do it your way.
But we-
I'll
we
do
have-
it your way. If that's what what majority of the board wants to do.
Well,
I'll
I'm
do
not
your
doing it.
way. Because,
You
I
get who
mean,
vote for it?
because if this is what majority of the board wants, yeah, I will work with you.
can I speak?
I will
I'm
work
not doing
with
it.
you, but I just think, to me, my opinion, we're just working backwards.
Okay, well, what I was gonna say is, we did something that we haven't done in a long time. We are a really reactive board. We're not a proactive board. We have to wait until a problem comes to our face and jumps in front of us before we do something. This is something where we, for once, said, we're gonna get in front of this, we're gonna do it. We have a goal in sight, let's hit it. We have the fund budget, so it isn't like we're sitting here going, we have absolutely nothing to work with. This means, okay, we have this, we don't want that fund budget touched, then we better be on that, looking for that money. So instead of sitting there and just going like, well, we're gonna have to raise taxes, you don't wanna raise taxes, then I can't wait to hear all the wonderful funding ideas that are gonna come rolling in to help offset that. I think if we instead stop working with, I'm mad that this change happened, so I'm not gonna do anything, instead of us working together and saying, okay, we have done this.
I wasn't expressing that I was mad. I said if that's what the majority of the board wants to do, I'll work with it.
So then let's work.
But in my opinion, and that's what I was expressing, was just my opinion, that I think we are working backwards. Instead of just figuring out how we gonna do this, we just rushed in and just voted. But, I mean, like I said, if that's what y'all wanna
So,
do, I'm fine with it.
Ms. Woodfolk, I was not present at that meeting. I was at a funeral for one of my students. I drove all the way to New York, Brooklyn, to a funeral, so I was on Zoom, so I didn't really hear what was going on. You really can't hear on Zoom. I asked the question, why didn't y'all pick July 1 so that y'all could actually budget it into the budget? And it was stated that y'all chose February 1st.
Madam
And-
President, ma'am, oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
So my suggestion was that we start it July 1 because the budget season was coming up and I was aware of that. And so that you can budget properly for this kind of increase. Every teacher deserves to get their pay. I mean, we don't get paid enough. However, making it a date arbitrarily was, in my opinion, Cherie, the board member, Whitsett's opinion, it was not well thought of plan. When you're thinking about millions of dollars when it comes to schools, the budget never gets passed on time. We'll be in the middle of the school year before the governor and his people decide to pass it. We're looking for grants. We don't have a grant writer. So my opinion was July 1. So again, I go with what the board wants. And so if the board says take it from the fund balance, Mr. Butler, take it from the fund balance. So moving forward for this, you're asking to take it from the fund balance for the 23-24, the remainder of the 69 days, you want to take it from the fund balance. And then are you saying if we get approved for this grant, once they write it, if the money comes in, you want to put the money back in the fund balance, or you putting that grant money into the operating budget?
Correct, it'll go back to the fund balance to offset what was taken from the fund balance. Now, the other part of that is, for everyone, you kept talking about You wanted it to start July 1st. Technically, that's what we're doing, because right now, we've got
No, it's starting.
the 69.
No, it's not. It's
Well,
starting March
it
1st.
starts- No, it starts March 1st, but the money that you're talking about, we need to budget, that budget is going to start July 1st.
But that has nothing to do with the money right now for March 1st.
The money, but the money from March 1st,
It's coming out the fund balance.
coming out of the fund balance temporarily, going back into the fund balance. So that part is taken care of. So now we're focused on March 1st, or July 1st, are we not? Because we're now talking about finding the funds for the next school year.
No, because we have a budget coming up, so we'll budget it into the budget. So we're not looking for
Right.
funds. We're
Right.
going to budget it.
Right, so since we're doing that, technically, we are already taking care of what part you wanted to take care of, which was
No, 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 no.
finding the budget.
No,
finding
that's,
the-
you misunderstood. I was talking about the 23-24 school year.
Okay, so well, now we don't have to worry about that.
So can I,
The board doesn't have to worry about, but the constituents have to worry about on the back end. Because okay, so let's be clear. Let's be clear about the school budget. The state and the federal government really doesn't give school districts real money. And that's why we have taxpayers that pay taxes, school taxes. And so when it comes to Southeast Delco, because we have no commercial property here, like the other big school districts, it falls on our taxpayers, our constituents. A lot of our constituents in our district don't even own their homes. And so we have a lot of delinquent taxes as well. So when you're thinking about a budget for a school district, and I know a lot of people are not in the school realm, so you don't understand the ins and outs of it, you have to think about when you come before here as board members, how the constituents are gonna feel. Right now, we got two cards already. Taxes, budget. Taxes, budget. RKP. It is every year, but when you don't have the money and you want to increase it from zero, like Mr. Butler said previously, you can't go from 0 to 5%. You can't go from 0 to 3%, because the people in the community, that's between, as I always say, am I buying food? Am I buying medicine? Am I doing electric? Am I doing water? Or am I paying my school taxes? So now I'm homeless because I just got taxed out my own home that I've paid for. I've worked, I'm on Social Security, and they haven't had a raise. I think they just got one this year, but that was a cost of living. So what I'm saying is, when we think about making decisions of this nature, we need to be thinking about the longevity of the decisions that we're making, because not all of us are gonna be here in 4 years. And so it'll be another board sitting here dealing with what we had imposed on them, and they have to figure it out. So that's my mentality when I said I would have waited until July 1 so that we can budget it into, so their 24, 25, they would have been on their right steps. 25, 26, they would have been on their right steps. 26, 27, because why? We budgeted, we planned, we talked, we deliberated, we budgeted. That's what I said. So again, I just want to be clear. If you want to take it from the fund balance, Mr. Butler, please take it from the fund balance, the 69 days. And when the money comes in for the grant, then it goes back into the fund balance. Is that correct? Yes. And then I'll sign off the MOU tonight. Are we all good?
yes, I just want to clarify on the timeline. You asked why February 1st, which is now March 1st. I've been asking about this since December 2022. And if we would have talked about it and we would have gotten the numbers from the administration and the union, it is possible that we could have put it in the current year's budget. And then in June, the teachers' union came to the board president and then to
Correct.
the rest of the board in August.
Correct.
So this is not new in any way, shape, or form. And we lost our opportunity to put it in the current year's budget because we didn't consider it a priority. So I suggested February 1st because I felt that the teachers waited way too long.
I mean, that's all good.
Mike, please.
That's all good. I'm with the teachers getting paid. I am with that. I just want everybody on this board to understand that. But you got to plan first. That's the only thing that I am against. Now we have to figure out where we're going to get the money from. You want to do it this way? Okay, let's do it that way.
So once again, I'm gonna state it. The money is coming from the fund balance for the 69 days. Once the grant money for the Ready to Learn grant comes in, the money will be replaced back into the fund balance.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. John? Mr.
Yeah, I
Levy?
do have a question for Mr. Butler, though.
Yes, Mr. Butler?
Trust me, I hate taxes more than anybody. I think, and I don't want to dwell
I
on the
can't
past.
hear him.
I don't want to dwell on the past.
Pull your mic back.
I don't want to
Thank
dwell
you.
on the past, but a zero tax increase with this sitting looming was basically a bomb going to blow up in your hands anyway. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet a little bit, and I know where you're coming from. I know where Ms. Cherie's coming from, but I also know where these ladies are coming from because I actually watched them do this. I've stayed in the background, kind of laid low. But, Mr. Butler, do you see any options for them, for the board itself, to not do a zero increase? I mean, I know, you know where my number is. Is there a way that you can come up with something? It's going to hurt for a little bit, and if anybody thinks it's not, it's going to. And I know so many people in this community, but it's going to hurt. But moving forward, I mean, like you said, Social Security has a built-in increase. Okay, is it legal on the school to build something like that into your budget? Like a minimum increase every year?
Well, there has to absolutely be a plan to do that, and it has to be structured. It has to be, you have to rationalize it and have documentation to support why you're doing that in the budget document. But in my experience, a lot of districts have done it in the past, and it becomes problematic in the future, that when boards vote on 0% tax increases, when you have a $2 million or $1.5 million increase in your expenditures, that clearly says that you're going to take the money out of the fund balance, out of your savings account. And the difficulty becomes, in the ensuing years, how do you recoup some of that money? So in my experience, I think that being a good steward of taxpayers' money is that there's going to be a tax increase in most districts, the way the education is funded in Pennsylvania. So there's going to be a tax increase. But you want to be consistent and minimize the impact that it has on your community. And you have to look at the structure and the demographics of your community, because clearly there are people who can afford taxes, and then there are a majority of people that can't afford taxes. So it's a balancing act, and it depends on how, what you have to do is to come up with a plan to justify and explain clearly why this tax increase has taken place. It sounds good to have a zero. You don't have to explain having a zero. There's no conversation. You just had a zero and everybody's yay. But what do you do in the ensuing years to deal with the impact? Like, for example, when I went over this document earlier, this $1 million is going to go from 24-25 up through 26-27. And again, a 2.5% tax increase generates about $1.5 million. So you already have, now you have $500,000 left over for your instructional programs, which is why we're really here to have a premier instructional program. So is $500,000 enough to enhance your instructional program? And the answer is no.
No, I know.
Right. So then you say, okay, so if we're going to do 2.5, then you want to go say, okay, well, we'll do another 2.5. Now you have a problem, because now you're going to have people from the community that are clearly going to say, why is it 5% this year, and you went from a 0 to a 5% instead of a 2.5, 2.1, 1.5, somewhere in that neighborhood, and people can understand that because it's consistent. So that's the risk in doing 0% tax increases.
So you said it would be 2.5, I believe you said?
It generates, in this district, generates around $1.5
Would
million.
do. So if we needed to get 1.5, you definitely have to get back to, you have to do 5, yeah, or do 4 something then, just to get your revenue up.
But again, so the balancing act is what are we going to get from the Department of Ed? Because the anticipated increase for 24-25 for the teacher's contract, based on this new calculation, is close to $2 million.
2 million,
Right.
$6 million.
So you have two, so, again, so it's. Mr. Lafferty, no, Mr. Lafferty is talking about the remaining years of the contract, and he's correct. So, the 2.5, again, 2.5 may be enough if the state income, if the state revenue balances it out for the district.
So you're basically saying what they were saying, what they were discussing, is you're playing with it, and you're just waiting to see what the state's gonna give you.
Well, as I said earlier, if I don't have approved numbers from the Department of Ed by the time the district votes on the budget at their June 27th, I think, is the board meeting, then the board is going to have a document in front of them that has projections based on the 23-24 school year, if the Department of Ed hasn't, or the governor hasn't approved the budget yet, or the legislators haven't approved the budget, because you can't take that risk. So then you have to figure out, what are you going to do with that amount of money to get you through the next school year? And if they approve it and there's a windfall, then, that money goes into fund balance, and then the board can make a decision, well, we had that windfall, we'll take that $1 million and we'll deduct that from next year's tax increase and just work it out that way. But that's how it works.
No problem.
So I don't want anyone to think that the only way the
No,
district
no, mine- see,
survives is on
I'm more
tax
concerned
increases.
on getting it right.
Yeah.
The teachers, and then some of the things that I saw today in the buildings that need to be fixed.
Right.
I mean, it's a total, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Right.
And I got to see it firsthand today. So,
And keep in mind that there are things that I'm doing on my end, out of my department, that will help put the district in a better position. For example, I had the board to vote on a restructuring of debt, and that is for reduction of debt to possibly pay for other capital projects, roofing, building, renovations, those kinds of things in some of our district buildings. So that's administration's responsibility to make sure those things are in place for the board. The board didn't ask me to do that. It's just you have to be responsible and figure out a different plan to make things work for the betterment of instructing kids in the district.
thank you.
All right,
Okay,
so I'm sorry, Ms. Whitfield, go ahead.
No, are we moving on?
Yes, we're moving on, ma'am. All right, great. Yes. We're gonna start voting. May I have a motion to accept new business item A, education 1 through 8?
Motion.
All in favor? Any op-
Excuse me, is the voting for the teachers, is that gonna be a roll call vote?
There's no vote, it's just an MOU to be signed. And
Well-
I'll speak to that, and then you can speak, Ms. Harris Johnson, okay?
Wait a minute, it's supposed to be a MOU signed today?
I sent you the MOU.
She didn't have her email till she got here.
Oh, pass this down, please. So there's a motion, there's a second. Are there any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
This is education, Ms. Harris Johnson.
Okay,
That doesn't have the
thank
MOU on it. Are you opposing or yay?
No, I rescind that.
Okay. What did I just? Okay, it passes. Thank you. May I have a motion to accept item B, Finance 1? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, thank you. Motion carries. May I have a motion to accept item C, HR numbers 1 through 17?
It's
Are-
opposed.
What,
Just make sure Ms. Harris-Johnson knows that 18 is.
Ms. Harris Johnson,
Yes.
we are on HR. When we get to old business, that's the one you want to say no for, the MOU?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I thought she wanted
HR item C, numbers 1 through 17, 18 will be a roll call vote. May I have a motion to accept new business item C, HR 1 to 17?
Motion.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Butler, may I have a roll call vote on the resolution number 18 under HR for Dr. Sanchez to begin part-time employment immediately without pay? May I have a roll call vote?
Do I
You want
need a motion and a second?
May I have a motion to? I said, may I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and second. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Mr. Butler, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, you may, Madam President.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Fowler, excused. Ms. McGowan?
Absolutely. Or yes,
Yes.
that too.
Ms. Womack?
Yes.
Ms. Woodfolk?
Yes.
Mrs. Barley?
Yes.
Ms. Hash Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett?
Yes,
Motion passes.
motion passed. Thank you, Mr. Butler.
Welcome to Southeast Delco, Mr. Sanchez.
So I just want to clarify for Ms. Harris Johnson, old business. I will sign the MOU. Can I have my paper back, please? My notes. Excuse me. Okay, I have a motion for it. It's not, it was already approved, it's just the MOU. So that's why I wanted it back so I can read what I wrote on it. So, the MOU,
Wait a minute, what you mean is already approved? What is already approved?
Vote to give the teachers their steps.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. We did
You
it.
approved the MOU, right? And we had a vote on that.
no.
Sorry? They go first.
They gotta vote on it first before I sign
Yeah,
it.
but we already voted on the MOU.
January 25th.
No, we voted tonight. We voted tonight on the MOU.
No, we didn't vote for the MOU.
It was just a discussion.
Just a discussion.
Didn't we have a vote on the MOU
No.
tonight?
No, there's a discussion.
Under old business?
No, it's further discussion. So, Ms. Harris Johnson, I just want to clarify what was stated about the MOU. Everyone has it in their inbox.
Okay.
So the board would like, first of all, it has to be voted on by the association before I sign it, okay? Secondly, the board agreed upon it coming out of the fund balance for the 69 days in the amount of $364,427. Once the grant is written for the money, for the Ready to Learn, it will replace the fund balance, the money we took out the fund balance. Are you clear with that? No.
Talking to Teresa.
Ms. Harris Johnson, can you hear
Yes.
me? So again, I'm gonna start again. So there was already a motion and it was approved January 25th, 2024, that the teachers get their steps effective March 1st. We clear on that part?
Yes.
Ms. Woodford, we clear on that part? It's in our minutes. Okay, wait, I'm not finished. I'm going one step at a time. We just discussed this for about 45 minutes to an hour, that the funds, so that, because it's not in our current budget, that we need to put in our current budget. So, the money is coming from our fund balance in the amount of $364,427. Administration is going to write the grant. It's not written yet, they're gonna write it for Ready to Learn. And once that money comes in, the money that was taken out of fund balance is gonna be placed back into fund balance. Ms. Harris Johnson, you good?
I hear you.
Wait. The association has not even seen it. I'm not done yet, Ms. Whitfield. Ms. Whitfield, the association has to vote on this. They have to sign it. Then I will sign it. If they don't vote on it, they don't sign it, it don't matter.
After they approve it, either before or after they approve it, we should also, just like when we vote on the collective bargaining agreement, the new collective bargaining agreement, even though the board has approved granting the substance of what this MOU stands for, I believe the board should also vote to approve you signing the MOU.
I will agree with that, Mr. DiIorio.
Yes, because they're going to vote on it, and we're going to vote on it.
All right, so then that'll be an agenda item for next month, or the month after, whenever they get it back to the board members, okay? I can live with that. Okay, Ms. Harris Johnson? Did you?
I hear you.
Okay, are we fine? You can take that, so Ms. Whitfield.
I'm not fine with it.
No, okay, so moving on.
You voted yes.
Mr. DiIorio
No, I
just
didn't.
stated.
You voted yes last
No,
month.
no, she did not.
No,
She
I
voted
did
no.
not. I said that
voted
I
no.
would
Everyone voted
vote
yes last
to,
month.
to discuss. I did not vote for March 1. I know what I said last month.
It was unanimous, and you just
Well,
approved the minutes. You just approved
I
the
said it
minutes.
loud enough for it to be taken, to be written that way.
Well, we already approved the minutes that said you voted yes.
I said, fine.
So, so then we'll need to amend those minutes for next month's meeting as well.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It was a roll call. She voted yes. Everybody voted yes.
Last month. I
How can
did
we
not-
change minutes for something that is a
Miss
recorded
Perry,
video on
Miss-
YouTube?
Because,
You voted yes. If you didn't understand it, that's one thing.
Miss-
order,
Mr.
order,
Perry?
please, order, please. Let's be clear. Robert's Rules of Order allows you to amend minutes. It allows you to amend anything. Allows you to amend things. So even if it was recorded, it was written, she's on Zoom, every board member in this room knows that, one, you can barely be heard on Zoom. Two, people on Zoom can barely hear you speaking. So we would want to give the courtesy to another board member. If she said no last month, then let's give her the courtesy to amend the minutes.
I'm pretty sure her exact words was March 1st, yes, I can do that. So I think
also
she
said, Miss
understood.
Perry,
Excuse me.
And
Ms.
Solicitor, can
Harris
we
Johnson.
take a vote back a month later?
If the vote is accurate, if it was not, if for some reason, because of Zoom, like the president said, that somebody made a mistake and voted incorrectly by mistake, that's one thing. But if the vote is accurate and then a board member says, well, I don't like the way I voted, you can't do that.
Absolutely, I'm aware of that.
That's what
Thank you.
she's doing.
Mr. Diorio, I'm aware of that.
At that meeting.
Yeah,
But I
wasn't-
know what I
wasn't-
said last month,
Yeah,
March.
Yes,
I mean,
Ms. Harris Johnson, yes, I
the
wasn't.
last month's meeting.
Yes, I know. I wasn't at that meeting, but I guess Mr. Butler would be able to give us some assistance as to the vote and also possibly the video. But I mean, if you misheard it because you were on Zoom and you didn't really understand what you were voting for, that is a mistaken vote. But if for some reason a board member does vote and says then after the fact, well, geez, I want to change my vote, that's not permitted. Two
No,
different-
I understand, and I remember correctly saying,
So let's be clear.
this is going to be for us to discuss it on March, for the March 1 vote. I said yes, because we're going to discuss it.
Okay, so let's,
I used the word discuss. You can wave your hand all you want, but I know what
Ms.
I-
Harris Johnson, we're not doing that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna move forward. And so this is what I'm gonna say. Ms. Harris Johnson has been against this since day one. Every board member here, present board members and the past board members. Ms. Harris Johnson has been against giving the teachers the step because of the collective bargaining agreement. They agreed to all these terms and conditions. They took it to their members. The members voted, the leadership signed off, and now we're here at this point. Ms. Harris Johnson, let me be very clear, has always been against this. So it had to be a misunderstanding. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because I've been on the opposite side on the Zoom, and you can't hear anything on there. So moving forward, I'm just going to make sure that we're clarifying and being clear, and we're not talking over top of people so that people can hear what's going on Zoom. Are we okay with that?
Okay, the only thing I'm
Yes.
gonna say was, that was a roll call vote, and at the roll call vote, it was crystal clear what the vote was for and what we said. We were very clear in it, and I distinctly remember you saying, oh, so we're agreeing that this is gonna start March 1st? Okay. And then
Okay.
you said yes.
No, I didn't.
And no, Ms. Harris Johnson, we're not going to go back and forth.
So the only
What
thing
I'm
I would
go-
say is review the
Okay.
YouTube video, but if the YouTube video backs up what you're saying, then 100%, and it was clear, that it was unclear, or there was any kind of miscommunication, then that would be one thing, 100%. Before a roll call vote where it was very concisely spelled out, for someone to
And
go back
may I
and
just
and
say
change.
something, Madam
Ms. Harris
President?
Johnson, give me 1 second, give me 1 second. I've been on a Zoom meeting,
Wait, how come she didn't get to finish, but since Teresa spoke over her,
and I told Ms. Harris Johnson to stop.
right, but she still wasn't finished, you didn't let it go.
I'm
back to
sorry,
her.
go.
I was just simply going to say, if it's ultimately that you needed to say no, for whatever reason, fine. I'm not gonna sit here and fight about that. All I'm gonna say is, in the future, when a vote is coming through, don't vote if you don't know what you're hearing. And if you can't hear what's going on, clarify before you give your vote, because our votes are important. We can't just sit here and start rolling back what we're saying the next week or the next month and saying, oh, I didn't hear, I didn't. We have to be crystal clear on what we're doing. And if we're not, then we're not being effective. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. But as far as this goes, it won't change the actual vote in the end. So at this point, I don't really care. You wanna say no? Feel free to say no. I'm not gonna stop you on that.
That's my prerogative.
Ms. Harris Johnson.
I wasn't,
Please go ahead, Ms. McFallen. McGowan, please finish.
Can I
Okay, so
ask a-
I'm gonna, go ahead, Ms. Perry.
So I have a question about the minutes. So we received the minutes ahead of time to review them for accuracy. We didn't ask for any amendments to the minutes from that meeting, and we did vote to approve those minutes. So now, do we just vote next month to approve amended minutes, or do we have to take the vote for these minutes already approved off the table tonight?
So Robert's Rules of Order say that you are to vote on the amended minutes. So if the amended minutes will just have her N-O on it, that's the minutes we're voting on. Her, on that section, will approve the amended minutes for January 25th. 5th, 2024. That's Robert's Rules of Order. Mr. Butler, were we able to get a Robert's Rule of Order book for everybody on the board? Can we please purchase that, please?
It's not that I'm misunderstanding, Robert.
Mr. Butler, can we just get one of those books, please?
Can we
Or-
not
And
add
then
an
I want to keep
additional
going.
expense?
And, I'm sorry?
I was saying, can we not add an additional expense if we just had a freaking flip out about,
The book is $9.
I don't care if it's $9
Oh.
and it adds up. I'll buy my,
So can the minutes that were
Okay,
voted
so
on tonight
again-
be a public document? Will they be on board docs? So my understanding is after we approve minutes, they go up on board docs as public records. So
Right.
will these be up as public record
Correct.
until we vote on amended minutes next month?
Correct. So I'm going to reiterate what I said previously is I'm going to make sure that everything is crystal clear when people are on Zoom, because the Zoom link, you cannot hear what's going on in the meeting. I'm going to make sure it's crystal clear. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to make sure that every motion, everything that's being said is crystal clear. That's why I keep stopping people when I'm trying to talk to whoever is on Zoom. Right now is Ms. Harris Johnson. If it's Ms. Barley next week or Ms. McGowan, then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to tell you, please stop speaking so that I can repeat to the people who are on Zoom. Mr. Diorio, I'm about to say Dr. Diorio. Mr. Diorio.
I just wanted to share the concern about the Zoom. Now that I'm hearing that sometimes folks are not able to hear correctly, especially when they're voting, I think it's important that if folks are going to be allowed to participate by Zoom, which they are allowed to do, that we have to make sure that they can hear everything that's going on as if they were sitting here in person. I don't know if that's going to take some tech tweaking or whatever the case may be, but we need to make sure that every board member hears everything as if they were sitting here at the meeting. If that's not happening now.
So I'll make sure that that gets done and handled before our next meeting, Mr. Diorio, our next board business. So I had headphones in when I was in New York. I heard nothing that was in the meeting. Then when y'all went to executive session, it sounded like mumble jumble. And that's why I hung up, because you cannot hear anything. And so when people are talking on top of people, you just can't hear on Zoom. So I'll sit down with the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and Mr. Butler, and so that we have the correct technology so that those individuals on Zoom can hear properly. Okay? Is there any other comments, questions? Great. Let's move on. County Community Committee reports. DCCC, Ms. Woodfolk.
No, Madam President, I don't have anything today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is nothing for DCIU at this time. Mr. Fowler is not here for the Legislative Council PSBA. Parent-Student Advisory, Dr. Ryan.
Not at this time.
Dr. Diorio, Mr. Diorio.
Not this evening, Madam Chairman.
Are there any administrative team updates?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Are there any comments for concern from citizens regarding non-agenda items?
Yes, I do want to point out there are no public comments for agenda items, but Ms. Manson, you
Yes,
have
this is
3
non-agenda.
minutes. This is not agenda now. There were no agenda
Please
items.
just state your name. You don't have to state your address because it's on the card. Thank you.
My name is Latanya Manson. First of all, I wanted to say Happy New Year to y'all, because I ain't seen y'all in a minute.
Happy New Year.
Second, I don't miss y'all, because the day showed me, I'm glad I left for a minute, and now I'm back. However, let me say this, right? You know I'm always talking about taxes and budgets and the money, and y'all trying to get it together. I'm always talking to Mr. Butler. What's going on with my taxes get ready to be, what's going to look like, because I need y'all to talk about it now in February, and don't wait until July to tell me that my taxes is $9,000. Okay? That's number one. Number two, just sat here and listened to y'all had this whole discussion about this, where this money coming from and what it's doing and everything like that. So I'm going to use this as an example, because this is what y'all did. Y'all said, I'm going to go buy a car for $50,000, and I'll worry about how I'm going to pay for it later. And then that's what y'all did. That's what y'all said. Now, I am all for y'all. First of all, I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 24 years in the state of Delaware. I refuse to come here. I ain't coming here to y'all. That's what I'm not. I'm gonna stay the cheerleading coach, and then when I'm done, I'm done. However, it's no reason for y'all to be up here. The ones that just got voted on here, y'all are just like the ones that just left. I'm sitting here looking at y'all face, the way y'all talking to each other, y'all body language and everything. Y'all ain't unchanged. Y'all the same. Y'all ain't do nothing different. Now, I agree with you with being proactive. We always reactive. So I agree with you on that. And I agree with you saying that everybody needs to do their part and do their grants. I agree with that. Y'all probably might want to hire somebody to do grants that specifies in that, because people go to school just for grants and they can write it and word it just right for you. But I'm gonna need y'all to get this together. For real. Y'all got somebody new coming in here. This is not cool. It's not cool. I keep tell y'all that all the time. And as far as taxes, we knew the taxes was gonna go up. Mr. Butler told us last year, oh, we going zero. He done finagled some money, and there wasn't no taxes. Okay, we knew taxes was gonna go up. Y'all said the teachers need money, fine. They need money. Y'all figure it out in the budget, and y'all do that. But don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait until July to tell me August 1st that I gotta pay $7,000 worth of school taxes, and y'all still ain't passing the darn state test. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all be trying to raise money, and y'all not giving me what my money is worth. See, it's totally different. I compare y'all all the time to where I work at, but y'all ain't them. And y'all don't know how to talk to each other still, again. Y'all need to go and it need to be a PD on that. I just spent $78 on Robert's Rule. It'll be here tomorrow. It'll be here tomorrow. I got them. They gonna come to all y'all because y'all need to figure this out and get this together. I got the book for everybody. It's 12 of y'all. Everybody gonna get one.
Ma'am, I have 2 books already.
All right, well, you're going to get a third one because we're going to make sure that we all, I'm going to keep one too because
Thank you.
evidently stuff ain't right. Y'all know how I do. I can care less about y'all 3 minutes. I can talk.
Thank you, Ms. Manson.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Ms. Holman?
Ms. Holman, you have 3 minutes. Ms. Holman, you have 3 minutes. You do not need to state your address because it's on the card. Thank you.
Raquel Holman, a couple of things. Number one, the auditor's report that's on the website is dated 2021. Was there an audit for 22, 23 for those two years, and when will they be posted? Number two, same thing with the budget. The final budget for 23, 24 school year, we're in February, that's not up, and we're about to go into the 24, 25. That's not on the website either. Number three, I applied for a position. I just want to know, I applied for a position here. I just want to know, not specifics, but I haven't even received an acknowledgement that I applied for a position. So I don't know what the process is. I don't know what the procedure is. You know, if they say if we were calling the position or whatever it is, the expectation is that I would know something or receive something, and I haven't received anything. Number four, we're talking about taxes, we're talking about money, it's always about dollars and cents. My sister's always fussing. My mother is 86 years old, and here we are. Taxes are going up, that's me and her. That's our dollars, in addition to our own houses. So give me what my money is paying for. Number five, my understanding is that Vision Academy, or whatever this charter school is, got approved to be here. The state overturned, whatever it was, and they're coming. Mr. Butler says all the time that charter schools take money from the district for those children that go to those charter schools. If we're short now, what's the plan? Proactive. You know what it is. You know where we are. What is the plan? Figure it out. We voted for you. The same way folks, they talk to me about Darby Township being commissioner. They voted for me, we voted for you. You better work together and figure it out. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Holman.
Thank you. Ms. Irons? Still, yep. There you go.
Ms. Irons, you do not need to state your address, just your name.
Raquel Irons. First, I wanted to tell the board thank you for coming to Academy Park today. We had a great time. We really had a great time. And I can't remember when we had board members come in like that, and the chat and chew was really fun today, and I thank you for coming. But I'm up here because I want to know, are you denying me my right to know request that I posted back in January? I haven't received anything, and on January, according to my records, January 29th at 1:49 p.m., I put in the right to know, and I wanted to know, are you denying me what I requested? No, it's a form. Would you like a copy of the form? I have a copy.
Can I have a copy, please?
And who did you submit it to?
It's a link on the website.
Here, let me see it, because it goes to Mr. Butler.
Is it Barracuda? Please don't tell me it's Barracuda.
Mr. Butler, can I ask you, when can we get that to Ms. Irons? Or can you contact her tomorrow? Can-
All right, thank you.
Tomorrow.
Okay, I
Okay.
appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ms. Irons, I'm not positive we saw that. This may be the first time we saw it.
So the Barracuda is a little crazy.
I work here. I got a Barracuda. But
Yeah, I just don't want you to think that you were purposely ignored. I think this is the
Oh,
first
I
time
don't
everybody's
think
seen
that,
it.
But
Okay.
I get a Barracuda and I check my
I
Barracuda.
understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I believe it's Mr. Hill.
Mr. Hill, please state your name. Rodney?
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hello.
My name is Rodney Hill. I'm councilman in Sharon Hill, and I've been destined to make these meetings. Well, I'm sorry. What's your sister? Ms. Holman brought it up about the charter school, and I was told by. I had a conversation with the mayor, Mayor Green in Sharon Hill last night, and he was telling me about the charter school that was just, the contract just was signed. And I was like, wow, how did we miss that? Like, it was just like, I know it was, they went through a series of courts and they were denied, and then they, came to Sharon Hill. And, when you look at our community, you know what's happening in our community. The colors is changing. And there's more of us. And we're growing and we're growing and we're growing, and they're going to be dumping a lot of stuff in these communities. And I'm saying that to say that that's something that, you all should think about. And I'm not saying that you're not thinking about that, but like more and more, because they're going to keep dumping stuff in our communities that's unwanted. It's like, okay, you dump that charter school now, what's going to happen to our to the public schools? I just got up here,
Yeah, I
Mr.
think
Butler.
that's
Is that
early.
for me?
You're
No,
okay.
you're fine.
Okay, cool. Well, you'd have missed that form, Mr. Butler. But yeah. So they're gonna keep dumping stuff in our community, and we got to be mindful. We got to be mindful of that. And, you know what I'm saying? If you care about these communities that's ramping up with African Americans, my Latino brothers and sisters, and Asians, and Africans, we got to think about that. And I'm saying that to say that I always felt that this council and the borough council of Sharon Hill, we need to work together. We need to communicate more, and that's something that's missing. I don't know why it's separated, but it's
Meetings are the same night as ours.
yeah, no, I got that, but I'm just saying we separated. Like, it don't have nothing to do with the meetings. We should come together and we should talk, communicate, because we missed that. We missed that. So it's like now, what do we do about it? Do we do a petition? Is there anything? I know they signed the contract with the pastor, or bishop, or whatever. He married my dad years ago, but do we do a petition or something to go against this, because it can harm us? And then the taxes, Mr. Butler, is really gonna go sky high. There ain't gonna be nothing we can do. You know what I mean? So then what are the citizens gonna do, do about that? And the other thing I would like to say, look, you can't get nothing done when you coming at one another. You know what I'm saying? You only can get stuff done with a clear head. And remember, everybody up here care about the same thing. Like, you trying to do something, sideways, it's not gonna hurt, your colleagues, it's gonna hurt everybody. So it's like everybody gotta work, you gotta work together, you know what I mean? And y'all care about the teachers, y'all care about the budget, y'all care about the kids. That's what it's about. And one thing, our council, we have our differences, but at the end of the day, we know we got a job to do. And we don't let emotional decisions, take over the real decisions that we got to make. And I know that's my minutes. All right, thank you all. I'm gonna try to make more of these meetings. And Mr. Butler, get to Ms. Irons. I know you saw it, Mr. Butler.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, let me tell first. Yeah. So I sit on the Delaware County Intermediate Board as well. So I sit on the Delaware County Intermediate Board. I found out the first Wednesday of February, that DCIU will no longer have Head Start at the old Sharon Hill, the old Holy Spirit School, which is owned by Bible Way Church. And that they had signed a contract with Visions Academy. So I found out on the first Wednesday of the month. They had already been putting flyers out in the community to people to register their children for this charter school. So it has been out there. I guess the ink just dried the first week of February, because I was at a meeting when I found out about this. Now, the legalities about it, Mr. DiOrio.
Yeah, I had mentioned, I share the community's concern, and obviously, I'm aware of the potential financial impact for this district, and as I am for other districts that I've dealt with in similar situations for similar issues. Just to reiterate what I said last meeting, last week, as far as Vision Academy. Probably about 2 years ago, we received an application from this Vision Academy charter school to be approved as a charter school here in this district. And the board, as we must under the law, conducted a full hearing, reviewed everything. I reviewed it. I believe Dr. Ryan at the time was very much involved in reviewing the application. And we found that it was faulty as far as not in compliance with the law, in our opinion. So I recommended to the board that they vote the approval down, and they vote not to approve this charter school application for a charter. And it was turned down unanimously by the board at that time. The charter school, as they were permitted to do, resubmitted an amended application. Once again, my team reviewed it legally, assisted by Dr. Ryan and the administration, and once again, we found it to be faulty in our opinion. I recommended that the board turn it down for a second time, which they did unanimously. As a result of that, the charter school decided to go to the next step, which would be to appeal our decision to reject their application for a charter to what is called the State Charter Appeals Board in Harrisburg. There was a hearing there, and as a result of that hearing, by a 3-2 vote, it was a close vote, they supported our decision and also voted to turn the application down. The next step in the appeal process, which the charter school decided to take, was to appeal to the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania. They appealed, and unfortunately, in that decision, the Commonwealth Court reversed the Charter Appeal Board decision and approved the charter. That was one order, and a second order ordered us to grant them a charter. So we had really no other choice but to do that. And at this point in time, as Mr. Butler commented last week, hopefully parents will understand the preference that our district offers their students as opposed to going to this charter school. That's really where we are at this point, because this case is over now. As a result, we went through the entire appeal process, and unfortunately, we did pretty well up until the last step, and the Commonwealth Court reversed it. So they ordered us to grant the charter, which we did. So that pretty much is the history of how this came to be.
Thank you, Mr. DiIorio. Future meetings of the board. Committee of the Whole will be Thursday, March 14th, 2024 at 6 p.m. The board business meeting will be at Academy Park High School, Thursday, March 21st, 2024, 7 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn? There's been a motion. Can I have a second? It's been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for coming. Please drive home safe.